Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 412 at scavengerlife.com.
Okay, let's get right to eBay.
Yeah.
There's one big thing I want to talk about, but let's talk about the smaller things that we noticed during the week. Number one, on eBay.com, where we sell our .com items, I noticed that the search bar at the top of eBay has a black line around it.
I know, I noticed that too. You're on Chrome?
Yep.
I'm just making sure it's not like a browser-specific weirdness.
But I mean, it's good because I noticed it almost immediately, and it does what it's supposed to.
It's like, where's the search bar?
Bring your eye up to, the
I mean, we know
box.
where it is, but maybe users who
and
aren't always
I know
on there.
people are like, yeah, who cares? I don't know. To me, when I see things like that, it's like there's someone behind eBay who's actually thinking about what their site is doing, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's design. Number two, I read that thing that eBay sent out about eBay's changing a UPS dimensional weight. USPS dimensional weight. Or I don't know if USPS is changing it.
The post office is changing it.
But from what I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't really change much of what we are shipping, right?
So I completely ignored that because I'm like, nothing I can do about it. Doesn't matter to me.
And
I just have to pay for it.
Right.
But yeah, I think people were like, anything that's under 12 by 12 by 12, which is their like max for like small package. I hardly ever ship anything bigger than that. It is rare for me. I mean, I do ship big items sometimes, but it's not frequent.
So like when we ship a rug.
Right.
And we roll it up and it's like tall and skinny. Yeah. That's dimensional weight, right?
Yeah, like you're going to be like, this is, 25 inches by 8 by 5. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to calculate it from there.
So since we do calculated shipping, when you list a rug like that, do you put in the dimension?
Yeah, I try to estimate for items like that where I'm like, okay, this rug, for example, I'm going to fold it in half, I'm going to roll it. And actually, we fold it in half and roll it and store it, so I can kind of get a little bit off that, like, this is pretty much how big it is. And what's funny about dimensional weight sometimes that I notice is sometimes it's cheaper. Like, sometimes it because it's, like, big and bulky, there's something about their algorithm where you're like, this is not as expensive as I thought it would be.
Because it gets put on like what, ground or parcel.
Yeah, it's ground, but the funny thing is sometimes if you calculate it like parcel versus priority, sometimes priority is a great price depending on where it's going, and you're like, great, I'll just send it that way. So I don't know, it might not be a bad thing.
When was the last time we sold a weird, big, bulky thing, and we didn't have things correct in the...
I can't remember.
And hang on real quick, so because people might not understand my thing. And we undercharged the buyer. Because I hear that happening a lot.
Undercharging the buyer,
new people. Where it's like, oh, actually, this thing's going to cost $90 to ship.
It's been years. I mean, it's been years for us. Because I'm so obsessive about being like, okay...
But regular packages, do you put dimensions in there, or it's just like flat rate envelope or whatever, It's only if it's bigger than 12
I have like a generic, like I use a generic box size, which is like, well, it's 12 by 12 by 12.
Right. So
since that's their max on every package that's a package that's not like a first class envelope, I just have that defaulted in there.
So only if it's bigger than 12 by 12
If it's bigger than that, if it's
These
like...
are...
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, if it fits in 12 by 12 by 12, then that's like one level. If it's bigger than that, you just type it in. Okay, it's 25 by 12 by 10.
Gotcha.
Approximately.
Yeah. And if anyone new is hearing this, the reason why...
This is like so nerdy.
But really, this is where you're either an amateur or you're a pro.
Look.
And that is, if you sell a big bulky thing and you don't put those numbers in there,
you will.
It's going to be like $150 to ship, and the guy paid $5 for it.
So I had a friend who was like, here are my air quotes, trying out eBay. And she sold this big Starburst clock. And she's like, oh, it's like £3. You know, it's basically plastic.
Right.
It's £3. Yeah, but it's 20 by 20 by like however, like you got a double box.
And plus it's delicate.
It's just all that stuff. She's like, I cannot believe how much money I lost on that. And I'm just like, dude, I just couldn't even begin to explain it. But I'm like, it's dimensional weight. Like you got to know how big things are. It's like people who don't use the post office professionally. They go up to the counter and they hand them an envelope or a package and they just pay the price. They're like, I don't care. So when you're having to care, it's like, yeah.
So now if you're new and if you're at like a Goodwill and if you see someone that looks like a scavenger, like a person that sells on eBay and they're standing in front of some item, you can walk up to them and be like, hey, what do you think the
dimensional weight
is on that?
It's so annoying.
And they'll be like,
Anyway. No, you know what they'll be like? I don't know, but it's too much and I don't want to have to buy this thing.
I just sell pieces of pure gold. That's my business. You're like, okay, good luck. I mean, it's good. You know, it's a good business if you can find it.
Yeah, I don't know where that quote came from, but
you know what it is? It's when we first started doing the podcast. For some reason, I think we had like a rash of people that sold on, that had been selling on eBay for a long time, and here we are, these scrappy young people who are like talking about selling eBay. Where we're selling like $10 items and $20 and $30. And they're like, oh. I would never sell that stuff. I only sell 18 karat gold or more. And we're just like, well,
where are you finding
that? Like, if I could tell me the store that I can go to where I can buy big buckets of 18 karat gold thing, I'm in, But it's like, we're talking about reality here.
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing on eBay. And this is just for us. I don't know if this was like a site-wide thing. We got a message from eBay. It seemed like a form, its message. And they said, we were undercharged by FedEx. We are going to charge you now $269.00.
I mean, we
were like, what?
So, there's a couple of things that people would say, oh, you underweighed your stuff. But I called eBay and I was like, what is this message? Where is the documentation?
That was my first concern. Yeah. Like, we had been underweighing stuff, and they, like, reweighed them, and they're like, oh, you made a mistake.
Right. But when I called eBay, they were like, the guy acted like he had heard this today before, although he didn't say that, probably because that would be a bad thing to say. But he's like, yeah, so they forgot to do a bunch of label charges on the last month's invoice. So it's going to come out of next month's invoice. But for me, and he said, because when you do FedEx labels through eBay, you can check your invoice for the tracking number. So if you're like, how much did I pay for that? Blah, blah, blah. Here's the tracking number. Check the invoice. So he's like, if you check your invoice next month against it, last month and the month before, you should not see duplicate charges. That's how he explained it to me. But I'm kind of like, it's kind of a bummer to be like,
I mean, that's a lot of money. $269 is a lot of money.
I do ship a lot of FedEx Smart Posts.
Right. But it's like $10 here, right? I mean, how much are Smart Posts?
Yeah. No, it just depends on the size.
It's just a lot of packages.
Yeah, you're like, so did they just like not charge me for like most of my labels last month?
Right.
Like what? Yeah, so that's what they told me on the phone.
Gotcha.
I'll have to look at my my invoice, I guess, for next month, because the day they charged me for last month's invoice was the day I got it. And I was like,
So I guess you would look at the month where they say they didn't charge us as much and see
And
how much they charge.
double check.
It was like $50, and then this month is right. I mean,
so I don't know, because I don't know my average label for those ones, like invoice price, because I hate looking at my invoices because I find it really annoying.
Yeah. Annoying or just difficult to like read?
No, it's not difficult to read. It's just like what they do on the PDF is they put every single, like it's like 30 pages long. Right. So you're like, every single final value fee, every single, like for every single, which is good and that's fine and they should do that. But it's sort of like for us, I'm like, this thing is 30 pages long.
Like, I mean, I sold, 200 individual items. Yeah. Rather than how, I guess,
so I just never look at, I'm just like, whatever,
I got you.
I should, but I don't.
Okay, this is what I specifically wanted to talk about. We have been talking about eBay rolling out this program. Yeah. Sending offers to buyers who are watching your item. So this is not someone sends me a message on an item and then I can send them an offer. This is someone is watching an item.
Some mysterious person who I have no information
we all see that they're like, hey, there's 16 people who are watching this item. Like, why won't someone buy it? Right. eBay's now instituting this program where you can push. It's a push program. Right. And before it was like, it was on our phones.
Yeah, so here's how it got rolled out. Number one, it was on some hidden weird beta page that someone had a link for, and we all bookmarked it. Right. And I was
hacking the system.
Yeah, we were just like, put a bookmark, and hopefully it's there tomorrow. I sent some offers through that. I think I sent like 30 offers, but it like wouldn't refresh, and like it was like, you're done sending offers. Like, I have 8,000 items, and I'm like, I just sent 30 offers, and now it's done. I don't know what's going on. So a couple weeks ago, you could see it on mobile. So in your like sell stuff page on the mobile app, it was like send offers. So I'm sitting in bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning,
totally dark, and
I'm just like send. Like I think it let me send like 40 offers or something. And then this week on your active page, there are these little like tab filter things on the page, like up top, and one of them is like, eligible. It's send offers. Right. So
it's on your active page in your seller hub, and if you go to it, come on, slow internet. Yep, it's like a bubble.
It's like a bubble button.
And it says send offer eligible.
Yeah, these are the eligible listings where you can send offers. So the first day I saw that, I had 522 items that were eligible for offers. You know what I did for the next hour and a half? I sent an offer to every single listing that was eligible.
Yep. And we ended up selling, I counted them, 12 items.
So what's crazy about it is you're like, I sent 500 offers and 12 things sold.
But it did feel good though.
Oh my God. I was like, well, what's funny is, all of our listings are always like .99 for whatever reason. I don't know. We started doing that, and that's just how I do it. Some people don't. So when I send offers, I was just doing just not .99. I was like $18, $20, $50. So we would know when we got a sale. Like that was an offer I sent. So yeah, we sold a few things.
And you were giving people pretty significant discount?
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah, 20%. Well, what sucks is our store's already 10% on sale right now. So I'm like, it's even lower, but whatever.
It was like, items we were like ready to sell.
Honestly, I was just like, let's just see if this works.
It did feel good just to have a lot of stuff. It feels
good. So what I've been doing is I go on my active page in the morning, and I have about like 15 things that they let me send offers, and then in the nighttime I check it again and they've given me more.
Right. So we have like over 8,000 items. Yeah. So it first gave us like a tranche of 500.
A huge. And
now it's giving us like 20 a day.
Right.
It's like I see 5 are
Well, some of them are, it's
eligible.
Buggy. Some of
Okay.
them are stuck in there and won't let me send off. There's
Right.
like 4 things.
And that's what
So
people were
whatever.
talking about on the forum is that, we can't choose which items we can send
Right.
offers on. It's just kind of this
Random.
weird, random
Don't know why they pick these.
eBay's black box. They just give you
Yeah.
the ones that you can do. So
Right, and what's hilarious is I'm sure there are lots of other sellers and listeners who are getting offers from us because I know lots of people watch our stuff that don't want
that's
to buy
right.
it because my mom was like, "You just sent me an offer on an item
But
that I
it
was
was-
watching."
But that was cool, though. She then sent us a copy of the email
'Cause I wanted to see what it looked like.
We could see what people see. And
Yeah.
it's like, this
Get
person,
this item for a great price,
Right.
and it shows the percentage off that they're giving you.
and people can send a counter offer.
Because I did get counter offers, which
Right.
is crazy. I'm like, I gave you literally the lowest price I'm willing to accept, and you counter offered, and then I accepted it anyway. Well, sometimes I did.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see that. She texted me right away. She's like, I just got an email
But
from
I will
you.
say, that's very good to see.
Yes, it
that
is.
eBay is doing new
Yeah.
things that is positive for
sellers.
instead of just make everything cheaper.
Make it free.
Yeah.
Free shipping, free returns. Yeah, so I've been enjoying that. Basically, I make that part of my routine where I'm like, okay, 10 more things, send the offers out. And I don't know how long the offers are good. I think it's probably 48 hours where they're like, you have 2 days to say yes or no to this offer to the buyers,
48 hours. Yeah. Someone was telling us, I don't know how these people know this. I don't know if there's some like eBay conversation that we don't keep track of, but they were saying eBay was going to experiment with offers that were of a shorter time period.
Yeah.
But the buyer picks that time period. So, which makes sense, I guess. The buyer can say, I'll offer you $10, but this is good for
an hour,
12 hours or something,
I saw that a few months ago, like last year, actually, they started doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, because I buy stuff on eBay all the time for our rentals and stuff, and you can send an offer and be like, this is good for 12 hours. I think it used to be like 12 hours, and it's like an hour. That's crazy if someone's not on their phone.
Yeah. But I would rather have people do that than give an offer, buy somewhere else, and then be like, oh, nope, I'm going to cancel this.
They'll do
because
it
I don't want
anyway, but yeah.
I know, but at least I'd rather have the ability for people to be honest. Like, if you accept in the next hour,
I'll buy it.
I'll actually pay.
Because I don't want to wait around for 2 days.
Yeah, but it's good.
No,
Okay.
I like it.
Good.
Yeah.
Gut reaction to the week.
Medium.
Medium.
You know why? That's medium because, look, we sold a bunch of stuff and it was really low prices.
Yeah.
Plus, we can talk about this in customer issues where countless number of people,
Yeah, I think you're overestimating these things.
a handful.
Okay, good. That's
Cancel.
your gut. That's your gut reaction. A medium, low price, lots of cancellations. Okay, that's your gut. Let me give you the reality. So last week we made $945. We sold 28 items,
That was last week's slow week.
and our
Slowest
average
week
was
ever.
about $30 for each item. So like that was
that was like dead
painful
zone.
for us. This week, our average was still about $30. So you're right. We did sell a lot of low dollar items, but we sold a lot more.
Yeah.
How much more?
How much?
We sold 73 items. What the heck? So, I mean, we sold a lot more, so that's like 10 items a day.
Yeah.
And we made about $2,300.
What?
Yep.
Boy, was I definitely not paying attention.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, it all kind of adds up.
Yeah.
I felt like it's one of those stores that some people have where you're
like
selling
just like that.
low dollar items, but you're selling like a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it was good. We cleared out a lot of stuff.
Yep.
T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, things we sold. I mean, like we talked about, we sold a rug. That was our highest price for $90. So our highest price item out of 72 items was $90.
Right.
We didn't even break $100.
Right.
And I also bring that up is, it was like it's one of those vintage antique rugs, like a wool rug.
Yeah.
I used to be able to find and sell these for so much money, like $400.
Yeah.
The market has dropped out.
Yeah.
I always just wonder about like if we have anything to do with that because we talk about these things.
We created our own competition.
Anyway, I don't know if there's just a lot more on the market or they're all coming from China now and people are buying those, but yeah. These were rugs, like we have a bunch of them that we should probably just sell cheaper because we have their prices are too high on it. But I'll take $90.
I'll take $90.
And then we just sold like a lot of t-shirts,
a lot of clothes,
mugs,
just basic stuff,
shoes.
But yeah, okay, sorry, I'm not complaining yet, but yeah, several people were like, they bought stuff and then immediately canceled, or they bought stuff, paid for it, hours later wanted to cancel.
We're not quite there yet,
but I'm saying
Scavenger of the week. Nothing.
Did we scavenge anything?
We didn't.
You pulled a tire out of the river.
Yep, I did. This building we bought is right on the creek, and I look out the second floor a window where our renters will be, and I'm like, there's a big tire in the middle of the creek.
Like that's what you see when you.
So I got on my bathing suit and my little river shoes and waded in there and got this tire that I'll throw away. But
and now we don't have to look at it.
Okay. So, I don't know if we have anything to talk about here. Customer issues. Yes. Okay. We had, Ryan said countless. Her
countless.
Countless.
We
had 4, what I'm calling bad sales. 4 sales where either someone bought and then immediately canceled, or they bought, they made us they said that they would buy it and they didn't pay for it.
Or they paid for it, I shipped it, and then they were like, oh, can I cancel this? I'm like, no, I already shipped this morning.
So then 5 bad sales.
Yeah.
So, okay. And those are super annoying. And
they are so annoying.
I don't know if we're more sensitive because it has been a little slower for us, or my gut is I don't remember this happening as often. Like, I remember it feels like in the past we would get maybe 1 a week or something, but I feel like it's happening a whole lot more.
Look, one of them was a $400 piece of artwork.
Right.
I'm going back and forth with this guy on offers. Finally, we settle on $405 on this big, very unique piece of artwork. We're psyched. 5 minutes after I accept his price, he's like, oh, I don't want this.
Right.
What? Are you serious?
And we actually asked why.
I asked why. I was like, why?
And he said, I made an offer on another item.
That got accepted and I want that one.
And I'm going to cancel yours.
Yeah.
So, and which, all that is very illegal in
they're allowed
the world
to do
of eBay.
It just stinks.
Yeah. But it just seems to be happening more often. And I don't know if there's something on eBay's side where people are doing
most
that more.
Of these people that I see have very low feedback, or they will write to you and be like, I don't really know how eBay works. Can you cancel this? And I'm like, here's how it works. You buy it, you paid, I shipped it. No, I can't cancel it. That's how it works.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's annoying.
Okay. Things we learned in the forum. Number 1. I learned a whole lot of stuff. Troy, a.k.a. TSAT.
Yes.
So he's very efficient, right?
He's very into numbers. He numbers.
Uses a 6-bit, so he doesn't even sell through eBay, through the eBay a website. He does 6-bit, and he's controlling everything.
Yeah.
And then he ships through this other...
It's like ShipRush or something.
Program. And I guess ShipRush was free for a while, and now they're not free, and he has to pay for it. So he's trying to find a system where you get as good of a deal on postage as you do on eBay.
Right.
But it also gives you all this extra ability. And his big thing is he wants to be able to print
a scan form. Look, I do not understand. So here's the nerdy new people. Sorry. Scan forms are when you print out 15 labels You label all your stuff. And then you say, hey, I want to print out a scan form for my postal carrier. So they just scan this paper and all those things get locked into the
And so
system.
they just scan one thing.
One barcode.
And it counts everything. Okay.
So for people who are not us, like Troy, I know he ships a lot. He does volume, right? Clothing volume. So he has a lot of packages.
Yeah.
So he wants to have that scan form. eBay will give you a scan form, but only if you use the bulk. They have like the shipping labels page, which I never look at because I do them one by one, where you can be like, do 10 labels. This one's 2 pounds. This one's first class. And it prints them all at once, which to me is crazy because I always have like different sizes I have to do and stuff, depending on what it is. And then it gives you the scan form at the end. You can be like, print scan form. But the problem is also, for me, is I'll ship like 10 things the night before. And then 4 or 5 things sell overnight. And then so you're like, well, now I'd have to do like another scan form. So
I guess it's my thing. Why can't he or you or whoever has to have just 2 or 3 scan forms? You
could. That would still be easier.
Every time you ship a bundle,
right?
You have a scan form.
You could do that.
And maybe there's 2.
You could do that. You could do that. For me, my postal worker does not care. She's like, scan. She's scan all, however many.
So let me just sum it up real quick. We have always just shipped through eBay.
Right.
It's free. It's part of why we pay eBay to do its thing. I mean, that's what we're paying for. You get the best prices to ship.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
IMHO.
Yeah.
And, it works really, so yeah, it makes the scan form not as convenient. But again, for us, it's like, well, the postage people are supposed to scan your items. I mean, like, we sold 10 items a day during the week.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
I mean,
it takes somebody under a minute to scan those packages. If you have a post office person that's not scanning your packages, I mean, they're just not doing their job. But I get it though, and the reason why I know there are people screaming at me, but I'm powerless. The post office person, I can't change their behavior. That's fine, and I understand why they're upset, because if they're not scanning that, then everything's late, and eBay thinks you're not doing a good job.
I wish that eBay would allow you to say, everything I shipped from yesterday at 4 p.m. until now, put that on a scan form. Like, without having to use I wish there was a page, because I'd love to give her a scan form. Here, just scan this. You're done.
Right.
But eBay just doesn't make it easy if you're like...
Or just pick and choose, like...
Right, exactly.
You
have
go
the
back.
thing and... Yeah. Right, exactly.
But to me, I'm like, well, if you want all these things that eBay's not doing, then you just have to pay for it, I mean, that's what those services... I don't know why someone would think that you're going to get some company's going to give you a free service to ship.
I mean, to be honest, that's why I've never used any other outside shippers, because I'm like, I don't want to pay extra.
People, there's other ones like Pirate Ship or Pirate Ship, or Stamps.com,
right? Sure.
Or Fit Shipper. I mean,
there are all these
things, and they're relatively cheap, $7, $8, $10 a month. I mean, so it's just a choice that people have.
I'm just cheap.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm frugal.
Frugal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're
Sometimes I'm cheap.
Okay.
It's true.
Poshmark. Several people sent us messages about the big news at Poshmark, which we don't really use so long.
Okay.
Poshmark is soon to create a home goods selling category.
Which makes sense.
Sell your lightly used sheets and bathroom stuff.
Is that...
Basically.
I thought it was home decor.
Or,
it's like, here's a lamp.
Right.
Here, it's like here's a vintage dance pot.
When I read it, and again, who knows how big that a window is.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like they want more modern home stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if the window's big enough where, here's a vintage dance ice bucket. Here's 1960s.
They should
cool sheets. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, then they would be competing obviously with eBay, but with Etsy, because that's what a lot of people sell on Etsy. So why not compete with them?
Basically, it's more competition.
When I was on Poshmark like last month, I was listing a bunch of like dresses. Didn't sell any of them. I was like trying to list like home goods stuff. I was like, what about rugs? What about like a vintage ice bucket? And I saw some people doing that in weird categories.
Yeah, people were like
they were hacking it into some of their category, and I think for some reason like the tags I forget what it was, like they wouldn't really allow me to do it, so I was like, oh, never mind. But maybe now they would, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I still haven't seen anyone in our community making a full-time income off of Poshmark. It seems like everyone so far is just kind of cross-posting stuff they have on eBay, or they list specific things on Poshmark. And some people seem to be doing pretty well. $200, $300, $400 a week. I mean, that's
not nothing.
I wonder if you're going to start getting people who are selling, a whole lot on Poshmark.
I would like to hear more about when are they implementing that? Do you know?
Yeah, sometime this month. I mean, I didn't really pay that much attention to it, but
because to me, that was what was always interesting about Etsy, was that you could do vintage stuff. Like at first, you couldn't do anything like that, and then they started getting into that. So
I mean, the thing is, Poshmark is just another one of these sites that have popped up, like Etsy. And they're actually a startup, and they want to go public at some point in the stock market, on the stock exchange. So I just think that they have investors pumping in cash, and they're doing their best to gain a market share. When they go public, all these investors can cash out, and then it just becomes another site.
And then their site sucks. Okay.
I mean, it's like Etsy, like some people love Etsy, but I never found that they...
Look, I just didn't sell stuff. Like that, what it comes down to is I put stuff on there, I didn't sell anything. Right. Poshmark, I put stuff on there, I didn't sell anything. I just sold $2,300 worth of stuff on eBay this week. That's where I'm going.
But we also don't have 8,000 items on Poshmark.
Right, no, I know.
But, that's the thing. Like, it's kind of like you're in for a penny, in for a pound. It's like you have to go all in. And I know, like, Troy was trying that TSAT. He was trying to expand Etsy and expand Poshmark, cross-list. And
to do as much.
I think on Poshmark he might have, like, 400 items.
I mean, that's a lot.
I forget, But really, it's like you have to start getting, 500, 1,000 items to really start making consistent money. But then I think people lose steam because you're like, I only have so many hours in the day. I can't cross-post to every single
the problem is it's not automated. So that's the issue, is that I don't know if anybody is doing that. I've heard that there might be
people say like on 6-bit that they're trying to make automation where you can, cross-list to Etsy. Because, all these sites want... It's different kinds of info in different formats. So it's hard just to push a button. But then at the same time, part of me is like, I like that every site requires work. Because if not, if it was so easy... Everyone's
eBay stores would just
everyone can just push a button. It just like spams the internet with just like...
Well,
here's 100 things times another 100.
Well, that's what Bonanza and Trugether are. Right. You just export your eBay store. I mean, because they just import those fields. They're like, the item specific fields, But it doesn't matter because nothing sells over there. Yeah. So whatever.
I don't know. We're grumbling now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the questions that people sent in.
Hi, Jay, Ryan. This is Christina from Greenville, North Carolina. I'm an eBay seller and was listening to your podcast today and heard you mention the 2-step eBay verification that they just rolled out. I have been using that for at least 3 to 4 months, and it came in handy when I believe it was a month and a half ago, maybe 2. I got a notification on my phone with the code that they generated because apparently someone had tried to log into my account. So I immediately changed my password and was very thankful that I had set that up. So I guess they're just now advertising it. But yeah, I'd heard about this, maybe 5-6 months ago from someone who'd been using it. And I also did that with my PayPal account. So just wanted to let you know it's been around and it worked for me. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I mean, two-factor authentication in 2019 is basically
It should be
the
everywhere.
gold standard for security. So that way, if someone ever got some email that asked you to log in to your eBay account and you accidentally clicked it and logged in, and you're sending your login info to some site, even if you send them your password, they still have to two-factor authentication it. So through your phone. So
I need to double check my PayPal that's true, and also I should just turn the one on eBay.
Yeah,
just do it.
Yeah.
Hey Jay and Ryan, it's Derek. I am on the forum as Eclipse Deals, if I remember right. I'm calling from my car, but I'm not driving. The reason I'm doing that is Jay's always interested in people that have interesting jobs and do eBay. And I've been listening to you guys for a long time, went back and listened to all the episodes a few years back, about 2 years ago, and started selling pretty much part-time. I was a handyman full-time at the time as well. I've called in about that. I got a good job offer since then, so I ended up working full-time. But I also, on the side, am a private investigator, so I drive around and look for people that don't want to be found, but also deliver notices to people to show up for court and things like that. So catching up on the podcast after having some crazy time working. But a couple of the things that got mentioned, one of them being the list it and forget it way that you guys do things. That's what I've done after watching a bunch of YouTube videos and selling off and on, and it's worked really good for me. I think the upside to it is that really anybody can do that. There's not a huge price that you have to pay to get into that version of eBay selling. Like, you guys get most of your inventory for a really low price. Now you look for more expensive items that sell for higher. But you can at least get started with no experience, basically, a few basic things and just get going on it versus a fast turnover, higher margin type setup may, require some special knowledge of a specific item in order to make that work. So that's what's worked for me, and it's worked when I have 100 items in a store, or when I get up to close to 200 and I'm able to do it that way, whether I'm doing it full-time or part-time. That's where your guys' advice and the list it and forget it really works. Something that got touched on a couple times in your last episodes, which was auctions. I actually had one of the best places I was able to source was an auction here in Salt Lake. And I think they finally realized after about 5 years, I've been going there off and on even before I wasn't selling full time. They make more money online, so now they're switched to strictly online auction only and selling on eBay themselves. So they had an auction every week, but not anymore. They mainly got damaged freight, like a semi-truck would turn over, only a little bit would be damaged, but the insurance would, total out the whole load. And so they would have stuff that wasn't damaged, just bulk groups of items. So, but Jay mentioned, and Ryan too, the box lots. I had my most success with those. Just one example was when I was looking at them, and I think you guys mentioned it before, I'll find a couple items and I'll decide, okay, this is how much I can sell those for. And so I basically want to double my money on those items. So I'll go, I know I can sell these 3 items for a total of $100, so I'll pay $50 for that box lot. And then everything else is just gravy, basically, that I get out of it. And I bought quite a few that way, but one of the best ones I bought, there was a bunch of moleskin notebooks. And I thought, I can get those and they'll move quick. They didn't move that quick. I did get my money back out of them for sure, but they didn't move quick. What did move is something I didn't even know was in that box, which was there was a whole bunch of handheld staplers that were called Boss-Stitch Pythons. And I didn't even know what they were. After I got home and looked at them, there was probably 25 of them in a box. They were all new in boxes. There was like 2 that didn't have boxes. And come to find out, they're like the stapler that you use to staple the little tag on the inside of your dry cleaning. And so I listed those for like $25 a piece, and they sold so fast. I even had a guy in Australia that had a dry cleaners, and he bought, I think, 10 of them at one time. And I paid $25 for the lot. So having that mix of stuff that moves fast and then the long tail things in the, list it and forget it seems to work really well. Anyway, hope you guys keep doing well. The construction's going good. Thanks again for the podcast. Have a good one.
Okay, so he called back. So this is 2 messages merged. Okay. I decided just to merge them together.
So number one, yes, I love hearing about how people have other kinds of businesses or careers
right
on top of eBay.
Because, also flexible.
Because eBay, people who use eBay as like the foundation for doing something else.
Right.
So he said he was a handyman, which I think is a great flexible kind of job.
Private investigator, which I love.
I hadn't heard that before. Yeah, a private investigator, or it sounds like he serves whatever, warrant or serves court
notices, which is not fun. But
so
I sold a rug to this lady one time, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a PI," and I was like, "Oh my god, I just want to ask you so many questions." Right. Yeah. So funny.
So I think that's cool because that's the way that we see eBay. eBay isn't our road to getting wealthy by itself.
Right.
eBay is what gives us a foundation to do other things, and for us, that happens to be buying and renovating old buildings.
Right, exactly. So that's what we love about eBay is it can be
right. Some people
it's like
use it as
job.
Some people use eBay as a foundation to be the best grandmother in the world.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being the best grandmother in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second thing he talked about auctions.
Right.
He perfectly encapsulates the experience and the benefits of going to live auctions.
And he said one of his favorite auction houses is just doing online auctions. That is getting more.
Yeah,
more.
I feel like that's becoming more common that auctions are realizing that if they just take the time to photograph all their pieces and sell it online, they can make more because people love to sit at home and just buy online.
Yep.
So the good thing about going to an in-person auction is there are only there are fewer people there
than online,
because who can actually go to places during the daytime, which oftentimes they're at, and they're really long.
Yeah, they're during the week.
They can be between 3 and 10 hours.
Right, they can go on forever.
So it's about endurance, and like you said, God, this country is full of just abundance and wealth and waste.
Yep.
And so oftentimes they're just selling big pallets of stuff or boxes. And that's what this guy's talking about. We do the same thing. I see 1 or 2 things in a box. I'm like, I know I can sell those.
Right.
So I'll go up to $30 and then everything else is bonus.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we bought a box or a lot of stuff where we didn't just make
never.
a lot more
it almost
money.
Never.
However, I will say it does take work. Not only going to the auction, sitting there, buying, loading, unloading. It will take us 2 weeks to go through and photograph a truckload of stuff.
2 weeks or more with our helper.
It's not, and this isn't like take one picture and then you're good to go. It's like everything you have to photograph, every little thing. You have to research. You know? So it's a lot of work. I mean, we know there was a guy in the next town over, him and his wife. They had like a junk store, and his wife was addicted to auctions. She would go to an auction
buy so much
every
stuff.
Single day because people are hearing this and they're like, well, if there's that much wealth there, then I'll just go to an auction every single day and I'll just get filthy rich. The thing is, they had this huge, big store, and the husband would be in charge of the store, and she would be bringing in truckloads of stuff every day. You would go in there.
It was so packed, you could barely walk.
You couldn't even get to stuff. They didn't even know what they had. So that's the thing. For us, it's about a balance. Like,
right.
We could probably go to an auction every 2 weeks if we really wanted to and we're really on top of things. But any more than that, not.
It's too much.
I've only talked about going to auctions more often if I only went there and bought a handful of high dollar items.
Yeah.
Like, don't buy the box lots. Wait for the part of the auction where they're selling individual pieces, you know.
I think it's tough doing that because you have to travel, you have to spend the time, and you're like,
right.
If I'm just walking away with a few high dollar items that are long, they're gonna be long tail.
Right. But what if I can spend $500 and make $5,000?
Mm-hmm. In how many months?
Yeah.
Like, how many months are you going to sit on that?
Like, there was a guy in the forum, I forgot his name. He bought a piece of art. I think it had been a he.
Yeah.
And I think he actually spent like $1,300 or...
But he was betting that he was going to get like 30 or 40 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where
hoping.
Is that guy? I want to see if he sold it, you know?
Yep, totally. So those people that own the junk shop, now out of business.
Yeah, who knows where they went. They probably just moved. Her husband was like, towards the end of the store, was like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. Like,
we were like, ew, we know.
I mean, and the thing too is she just had bad taste. I mean, we would go in there and we'd be willing to like dig. And
we could barely find anything. We're like, this is actually
making
like
a pile,
junky.
Because that is the thing about the box lots. Like, you can't just go and buy every single box lot,
right?
By any means.
I mean, there are some box lots that are full of garbage. Yeah, don't buy those ones.
Right, there are actual pallets of just garbage, and there are people that like love those.
Right, they want that stuff. The old linens, the old Christmas. Look. They will have rows and rows of boxes of Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas
I don't
ornaments.
look at those.
Yeah.
I take a break and get a snack when they're just like, no. Right. Oh, look, I buy glassware, but yeah.
Very specialized.
Yes.
With our eye.
Hello, Scavenger Life. Thank you for the podcast. This is James, and I just wanted to talk about view numbers. I know a lot of sellers really care about the number of views that they get on an item. But I don't believe that the number of views is relevant anymore. Back when they were smaller, to get a really good view of what an item is, you would have to click it, and that would count as a view. But now you can almost see clearly without actually clicking on it. So I don't put any faith in the number of views that I get on a product anymore. Oftentimes I sell things as buy it now. If they don't sell after a while, I don't base whether I put it on an auction, whether it has a high number of views or not. No relevance for me whatsoever. Just something to think about. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I just want to say you cut out a couple of times, but I got what you were saying. Basically, on eBay, when you do a search page, say you search for like vintage Mary Mako fabric, you don't have to click on almost any of those to know you want it or you don't want to look at it. Because the image, the thumbnail image is big enough. So he's saying, like, views are not super relevant because you're like, okay, only 3 people clicked on this.
Well,
but
I mean, I think we've talked about this multiple times, you know, especially people who are new and they'll list like 10 items.
Right.
And they're like watching those items like a hawk. And they're like, today only 3 people looked at this thing, you know. And what that means, I guess, is that they clicked on it or something.
Through.
Yeah. I mean, to us, it's like if you are selling like one specific SKU, and you have like 1,000 of these things, then you got to care about that stuff because you want it to get clicked on, and you should be getting sales all the time.
Right.
But if you're like us, just selling individual vintage weird items,
those numbers,
they're long tail.
Yeah,
you know,
like I could get 10 views on an item, and the right person comes along and buys it.
I can't remember the last time I looked at
I don't look
views.
At views.
Like I don't even look at like how many people are watching.
I haven't looked at watchers until it send offers to watchers, and I'm like, oh, this is sending to 5 watchers.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, what's more important is doing the research, just trying to see if that specific item sells or has sold, see the price it's sold at, and then make sure it's priced, at about what makes sense.
Yeah,
And then just
to
be
me,
patient.
that's way more important than did 25 people click on this since the hour that I listed it.
Right.
The stuff we sell just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want to tweak your title,
that's not a bad thing, but you should have the title right unless you didn't research
But
it.
I don't know. It's just the idea that people start freaking out about that too quickly, and then they start to bring the price down lower and lower and lower and lower.
Look, that's why we say list it and forget it, because it's like, I don't have time to do that and to obsess over those things, and stuff sells anyway, whether I look at those numbers or not.
Right. I agree.
Okay, that is it for the podcast this week. You can check out the blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line, or you can email us an audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. Our voicemail number is 540-407-8486. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video, currently being brought to you by Stephen Schultz. You can subscribe to our Patreon account and support us for as little as $5 a month. You can download 5 years worth of our podcast. That's the download all link that's on the blog. And you can listen to us offline. That is 400 episodes that you can download. We are ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1.